AITA for insisting my boyfriend eat respectfully at a nice restaurant? So my boyfriend, 20M, L, and I, 20F, have been dating for 7 months. We usually eat takeout if we want to get something to eat. However, I recently was promoted, so we went to eat at a very nice Italian restaurant to celebrate. Like, one with an enforced dress code. My boyfriend is not the nicest of eaters, which can be kind of gross, but I deal with it. However, I didn't realize he had no table manners. At the restaurant, after we were served our first appetizer, a beautifully plated bruschetta dish, L looked at me and jokingly asked me if I would be upset if he enjoyed his meal the same way he would at home. I told him that we were at a nice restaurant and there were other customers around. He didn't say anything, but instead started digging into the bruschetta with his hands, ignoring the serving fork, getting sauce all over his fingers. I let this go. However, when the pasta came out, he smirked at me and ate like he hadn't eaten in a week. He dropped his fork and started picking up pieces of chicken and noodles with his fingers, getting sauce everywhere. The tablecloth, his hands, his clothes and face. He didn't miss the opportunity to loudly burp after he had finished destroying his side of the table. The table next to us was astonished. My waiter even asked him if he was okay. Other customers were staring. He also put his feet up on the chair next to us, blocking the aisle. I had no idea what to do. I didn't want to make even more of a scene, so I just asked for the check, which I paid, and left really embarrassed. On the way home I told him how embarrassed I was, and he just said that it was my fault for not letting him enjoy the meal as he pleased, and that since we were paying customers, the other guests had no business judging us. AITA? NTA. Your boyfriend behaved like a toddler. The fact that he smirked before doing it suggests he knew exactly what he was doing and that he was trying to embarrass you. NTA. This isn't like he used the wrong fork, or made a bit of a mess failing with oysters or lobster. He was intentionally being disgusting because he wanted to make a statement. I'm too cool for a fancy restaurant. NTA. This should be the last time you see this. The fact that he smirked and asked before doing it tells you everything you need to know. He did it on purpose. He knew exactly what he was doing. It's not that he doesn't have manners. It's that he chooses to be a gross He wants to see how much he can get away with. He's an Cut your losses and move on. Please, for the love of God, let that be the last meal you eat with this man. NTA. NTA. He smirked at me. He smirked at you. Dude knows exactly what he was doing, and took pleasure in publicly embarrassing you. NTA. This is the human equivalent of a pet looking you in the eye while they PSS on your favorite cushion. It's not lack of knowledge of how to behave on his part. It was a deliberate act of dominance. Take this as the warning sign it is. Your future successes and happinesses will be treated the same way. Don't waste any more time on this a-hole. NTA. Honestly, that would be a deal breaker for me. NTA. Your BF clearly did this on purpose to fuck with you. NTA. This would be bad enough if he genuinely was not aware of how to behave at the dinner table. But that at least could be chalked up to being raised badly and innocently not knowing better. At least then he could learn. But here he absolutely does know better. He outright said he going to eat like he's at home. And he shouldn't do this at home either. This is not home behavior. This is barnyard behavior. And that smirk says it all. He is fully aware of basic manners. and is intentionally choosing to act like an animal instead. Not only is he a slob, he has no respect for you or for others. I'd go so far as to say it's a power play. That he did it on purpose to spite you and then gaslight you into thinking you're the one in the wrong for having a problem with it. Once he can get you worn down to the point he can get away with this, he'll see what else he can get away with. You'll wind up scrubbing the skid marks off his underwear when he refuses to wipe. Don't settle for this. NTA, that behavior of his is extremely disgusting. Not to mention he deliberately did it. I eat with my hands sometimes at restaurants, but that's because it's a cultural thing. However, I do not get sauce on my face and eat like a goddamn baby. How hard is it to use a fork? Maybe he doesn't know how to use a knife and fork. But I don't either. I manage to eat like a decent human being without looking like a slob. Your boyfriend's table manners are disgusting. Edit. Spelling mistakes and grammar. NTA, don't let it get to 8 months. NTA. You said it yourself that he doesn't like those pretentious restaurants, so he thought if he made a fool of himself you will be too embarrassed to ever go to a place like that. Just imagine yourself what would happen if you were invited to a fancy work party where partners are invited and he behaves like that. This reminds me of when guys pretend to be dumb and don't know how yo do chores, so you have yo do it. Drop that man. He immature. NTA. And this behavior seems extremely deliberate. Like some kind of weird power play to express to you that he's going to do whatever he wants, regardless of what you think are standards of acceptability. I just feel like the odds of him doing this if he went out with his family are almost none. I almost wonder if he gets off on publicly embarrassing you. Girlfriend. Why are you with this clown? What you saw at this beautiful dinner were red flags. He only cares about his contentment and nothing for you or socially acceptable norms. What you witnessed was his selfishness. You need to have a talk with him, because if you cannot take him out in public, then what are you imagining about your life? NTA. NTA. He obviously has no respect for you. By the way, 1. He was not a paying customer. And 2. The other guests did have a right to judge because they were paying customers and wanted to have a nice meal in a nice restaurant, but instead were subjected to your boyfriend's, as you put it, gross behavior. Remember, you were promoted. There will probably come a time when there will be dinners where those promotions are celebrated. Is this what you want to endure? If this is how he acts, you can forget future promotions. Honey, you can do so much better, and it actually wouldn't take much. NTA. And believe people when they show you who they are. Your BF is showing you he doesn't respect you and is going to make a scene and try to upset you anytime you try to do anything nice. I would hazard a guess it's because he's jealous, insecure over your achievements. NTA. He's immature with no manners. He should have respect you on such a nice occasion. Location flag. Okay, that's beyond just not having table manners. That is rude and blatantly, and obviously knowingly, disrespectful to especially you but also other patrons. I think you should reconsider that relationship. NTA. But your boyfriend needs to become your ex. Not to mention him having the audacity to tell you that you are the AH. Dump this clown and don't look back. NTA. He went out of his way to embarrass you and took pleasure in it. You've been dating this guy for 7 months. Cut your losses. That's what dating is for, to weed out the people you're not compatible with. NTA. He ruined something you wanted to do. You're both 20. Does he wipe his ass well? Or is he only a messy eater? I feel like he might be trying to shoot down your hopes for enjoying yourself and make you feel guilty for once the things you do and pay for. It will only escalate from here if you don't nip it in the bud. The behavior, in my opinion. Although, also in my opinion, you're not his mom and it's not your job to teach him how to behave like his own mother should've. Many years ago. Message his mom for advice detailing everything like you did for us and see what she says, or find literally any other adult who would at least feel ashamed of themselves for making such a fool of themselves.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. AmITheAsshole is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.